My name's Eli Locardi. I am a full-time travel and landscape photographer. 3.5 years ago, my wife and I did something a little interesting. We sold everything that we owned and we became 100% location independent, which means that we travel the world full-time, country to country, city to city, place to place, without any home base. So when I met Lee and Patrick in Photokina, within a few hours they were pitching me on this idea of putting together some sort of landscape or travel photography video in different parts of the world.
And it sounded great when we were talking about it, but when we started really looking at the details, we were thinking to ourselves, can we really pull something like this off?
This video specifically focuses on landscape photography and post-processing. So we decided to go to two of the most beautiful places for landscape photography on the earth. And since it was December, we went to Iceland first. So it was winter landscapes in Iceland. So we had all this beautiful soft light. But I knew that soft light wasn't going to be enough. So we decided to go to the southern hemisphere where it was the opposite climate in the middle of summer for New Zealand. So we could get different varied weather environments and come up with different scenarios to be able to teach every aspect of landscape photography. Years and years ago, I got into HDR photography. Very quickly with HDR though, I started to notice that it did a lot of negative things. It gave an HDR look which I didn't like. So a few years ago, I started experimenting and I came up with a very easy and simplified manual blending process. And after I was able to blend different exposures together, I was able to push colors to the limits, textures, details, and lighting. So what I've become known for in the photography industry is very vivid, beautiful landscapes. So the goal for this was to create a series of lessons that become progressively difficult as we go. And each time, the in-the-field instruction is complemented with the post-processing portion.
You're going to get all the video files and all of Elia's raw files. So you're not going to be just sitting there watching Elia work. You're actually going to be working alongside with him to create the exact same image.
So what I'm going to do is go into the folder Lesson 1, Kirkjafell, and I'm going to open up the Lightroom catalog. If this is the first time you guys have ever opened Lightroom, we're just going to be focusing on a couple of the key windows and panels here. It's not just a tutorial. I'm basically teaching you my entire workflow from start to finish, how I think in the field, how I arrange my composition, the settings I use in camera, and the exact tools I use for raw processing and Photoshop processing to get the signature look that I've become known for.
In order to make this the most beautiful landscape tutorial we possibly could come up with, we had 6 cameras, we had a drone, we had GoPros, we had sliders and jibs. We basically brought everything we could for a 2-man crew to produce the most stunning imagery possible for this tutorial.
I have to say that my favorite moment of filming this entire tutorial was probably day one in Iceland. So our hopes were really high, excitement levels were up. We get on location and the first thing that happens, it starts pouring rain, and then minutes later we get stuck in a hailstorm. And the first day was a complete wash. But I have to say it was a lot of fun because Iceland is known for the dramatic weather.
Yeah, here comes the hail again.
And the positive upshot was the next day was beautiful and we were able to come away with a great lesson and great images.
Just like all of the other photographers that we've partnered with when we do these tutorials, Elia has a style that is all his own. You can just come across one of his pictures online and instantly know that's an Elia Liccardi.
More recently, over the last couple of years, I've started to become well known for what I call blending time. So I'll also take a whole sequence of images sometimes, a whole range of a sunset, and I'll blend different pieces of it back into a single image that encapsulates a collection of moments in time.
Well, this light is really beautiful right now. If we take a look at what I shot when we first got here when it was snowing, you can see that it's still a beautiful scene, but it feels kind of flat. This light streaming down from behind me and illuminating the waterfall tends to chisel out the little details and give a little bit more life to the scene.
I think with landscape photography, there's a tendency to just go way over the top with the post-processing. So many pictures that I see, they take these gorgeous landscapes and they push all the sliders to 10.
What people don't understand is high dynamic range photography is just the act of merging exposures together. It has nothing to do with pushing the details and colors to ridiculousness. When you start putting the sliders and turning it to neon madness, then it starts to look crazy. That's what people don't like.
Something that we did differently with this tutorial was we actually filmed behind the scenes throughout the entire process. So when you buy this tutorial, you're going to get 9 episodes of how we actually filmed this entire tutorial.
We had iPhones and GoPros and pretty much everything filming every moment of behind the scenes.
Just going back and editing it was so much fun because I got to relive the entire trip, and you guys are gonna get to follow along with us. All of our camera gear, all the time, it's so wet. It's like we just dipped it in a bucket of water and pulled it out and then tried to film with it.
In the field, I'm going to be using different camera systems. I'm going to be using a Nikon full-frame camera, and I'm also going to be using a Fujifilm APS-C, so that's a cropped sensor. We're going to be using a bunch of different kinds of lenses, tripods, and tools, basically everything that I use in the field on a daily basis. And I'm also going to be using the tools that I use every day for post-processing my images.
Just like all of our other tutorials, this is a digital download, and we do that for a few reasons. First of all, we want it to be quick, so you can buy it and instantly start downloading it and instantly start watching it that day. We wanted to deliver it in HD, and many people still don't have Blu-ray players today. So these are full HD 1080p files that you're going to get. So you're going to be able to download these files, copy them to any computer you have, copy them over to your iPhone or your Apple TV, and watch them on all of your devices.
Obviously, there are other beautiful places for landscape photography, but I think combining just the out-of-this-world landscapes and alien planet-looking places that we found in Iceland and the beautiful, epic, almost Lord of the Rings-like landscapes of New Zealand really make this a complete package.
I'm so excited to finally release this. We've been working on this for 6 months now, and it's by far the hardest project I've ever taken on.
Looking back to to that first night in Photokina when we met Alaya and we were casually talking about this idea, I don't think we had any idea that it would become this big. It was the best trip of my entire life, and I have no doubt that this is the best tutorial F-Stoppers has ever made.
I feel like we've created something here that's truly unique, and I can't wait for you to watch it.